Welcome back, Fantasy Endgame fam, fantasy baseball players. This is it. I mean, I think I say this every week, but we are there. 3 weeks, PR, I looked. 3 weeks in most of your fantasy leagues before the fantasy playoffs start. You're either fighting for the playoffs or you're locked in and you're getting ready for the playoffs. But either way, we're here to help you out. Pierre, are you ready for the fantasy playoffs?
I hope so, because I'm trying to make sure I actually make the fantasy playoffs in our league. I'm doing pretty well this week, but I'm not sure if it counts because I'm facing the last place team. But hey, sometimes you just have to take advantage of the soft schedule you're given, right? I mean, that's part of the game.
That's right. You get 3 straight against the White Sox when you're in that pennant race. Hey, take it.
Take
Take
it.
it. I'm hoping after this week I will be mathematically locked into the playoffs. We shall see. Because then I could just start planning for the playoffs. Because I'm not gonna lie, it was hard for me to pay attention to my fantasy baseball team this week with fantasy football going. But we're still here to help you guys with your fantasy baseball teams, because I'm sure many of you are in the playoffs and ready to win a championship. And if you're not, you're fighting for those playoff spots. Every week matters. And that means every edge you can get matters. And one of the best edges you can get in fantasy baseball, in my opinion, streaming pitchers, and specifically 2-start streamers. So let's jump right into our 2-start streamers. And let's start with a guy who started the season off looking like he might just be a set and forget. Has hit a bit of a rough patch the past 2 games. He gave up 6 earned runs to the Braves the last time he faced them, 4 earned runs to the Guardians. Talking about David Peterson. But this week he gets the Nationals, which is a great matchup. Then he does face that Braves again this week. David Peterson, which one are we getting this week? Which David Peterson are we going to get this week?
Well, I will say I actually kind of want to start. I was looking through the streaming list, and every league, who counts as a streamer depends. And like, I try to leave the ownership or the rostership rate. I try to kind of look at 50 or below, and 60 is usually cut off. Some of these guys are 66, 67. It's like, it's on the edges. You're like, these guys aren't available in my league. I don't know what your league is. Some of these teams are available, right? It's 8-teamer or a 10-teamer. They are available. But also, look, Peterson is one of just a couple of pitchers here we're going to talk about that had been just solid and steady, and you're streaming him, all the time if he's available, and you're just sometimes just starting him, right? It's not a streamer. Like, this guy's more than a streamer. But then they get dropped because they get rocked. And so Peterson is one example of those players who he was cruising basically right through July. He had 5 straight quality starts, and then he had a kind of a bad outing, and then he got lit up. So, some people are just like, I'm out, right? I'm just going to go somewhere else. You can't just give up on a player. Every pitcher has a bad start. This is 2 bad starts, but still, he has been mostly really good this year. He should be back on it. At the Nats, at the Braves, yeah, I'm going to put Peterson as the number 1 streamer, even though he doesn't have the highest strikeout upside. I still feel like he's probably your most solid bet here in terms of high floor with a decent ceiling.
All right, and then I asked you what David Peterson are we going to get, but I ask this every time I see the name Gavin Williams. What Gavin Williams are we going to get? Because we know this guy has great stuff. I mean, look, he had gone 4 straight starts of at least 6 innings and 2 or fewer earned runs. And then he faced the Marlins. And, I'm not even going to blame him, because he's got to face Jacob Marcy, the greatest hitter in baseball right now. So I can't really, you can't really, I mean, Jacob Marcy, can we talk about it? Yahoo gives me a notification today he's out. Okay, I bench him. And the dude still somehow hit a home run, drove in 2 runs, stole I'm like, this guy didn't even play today. How does he do it? Like, he's so good even when he doesn't play. It's a monster game. So we can cut him a little slack for getting rocked by the Marlins in just 3 innings last time out. But look, in all seriousness, we know this guy has a talent. We know he has a potential. He gets the Diamondbacks and the Rangers. So one great matchup, one so-so matchup. Although, Diamondbacks, I feel like they're one of those teams that you never know. But Gavin Williams, I mean, you got to take a chance on the talent here, right?
Yeah, this is baseball. This is what you have to love / hate baseball. It's never what you expect, right? So he went from his longest start, almost a complete game, right? 8 2/3 innings. And then the very next time to his shortest start of the season. Because of course, right? And it gets better. I've got one later that's even better. But yeah, who knows? I'm not going to pretend to know what Gavin Williams is going to give me every time out. But it's almost like, when he's coming off a bad start, you feel like a good one's coming. Okay. But seriously, the Diamondbacks, we know, depleted since the break. They've been better, right? They got some pieces, some guys filling in, like Blaze I talked about, Locklear. Like, those guys are doing a good job. So it's not like they're rolling over or anything. But I think you got to mostly trust Gavin Williams here. You got 2 road games, yeah, but Diamondbacks, Rangers, I'm still going to put him over all these other streaming candidates we got, though there are still some pretty good ones.
All right. Speaking of which, Cade Horton. Look, this guy has been honestly like sneaky pretty good this year, right? A 3.07 ERA. He doesn't have a ton of strikeouts, but he doesn't kill you in your ratios. The one issue I have is for some reason the Cubs like just have an allergy to letting this guy go 6 innings. It's like 5 2/3, 70 pitches. Nah, you're good. Come on out. You're good. You're good, right? Every now and then he'll hit that 6-inning mark and you'd be like, what? How did he do it? But look, if you're in a wins league, he definitely has great win chances this week against, well, I will say this. The Brewers are on fire right now, so maybe he can't win that game. But he can certainly get a win against the Angels. But again, this is the guy who's not going to wreck your ratios, right?
He shouldn't. This is another example. He's been so good you almost worry, right? That like the negative regression's coming. This is one, got to mention it. We play with quality starts. The very best thing in the world, seeing your guy go 5 2/3 innings. You got to ding him in quality starts versus wins leagues. But still, he's my man. You have 4 straight starts without allowing a single run. Only 1 earned run total in 5 starts. He's figured it out. This guy has a ton of talent. You know that. It's just, he's not going to go that deep. But, man, yeah, the Brewers, you got to be scared, low-key scared of any starter going against the Brewers these days. So there is risk. I almost put him a little bit lower in this list, but still, he's been dealing so well. I don't think I can.
All right, let's go from a guy who's been pitching well to a guy who has not been pitching well for your Marlins. That's Eury Perez. 9 earned runs over his last 10 1/3 innings. Now, at least in the last start, he struck out 8. So we gave you that at least. And we do know Eury Perez does have strikeout upside. He's got 60 strikeouts in 60 innings this year. But look, you got to love the matchups this week. The Cardinals, the Blue Jays. I mean, this is like the risk versus reward here, right? But the matchup, the schedule just too good to ignore.
Well, it could be a tale of 2 starts because the Blue Jays have gotten really hot. Here's the thing with Perez, right? The talent is there. They haven't been restricting his innings. That's the good thing, right? Some people thought, well, maybe they'll cut down, and rest. Not yet. Like, that could still happen in September, but not yet. But for some reason, over the last 2 starts, even though he's still getting whiffs and getting strikeouts, he gave up 5 home runs in 2 games. Why all of a sudden? Don't know. He's just leaving them over the heart of the plate, right? He just decided to serve up some meatballs a couple times in a row. But the good news is the Cardinals, since the All-Star break, have the fewest home runs in the major leagues. So I don't think you got to worry too much about it. The bad news is the Blue Jays have the most home runs since the All-Star break. So this could be a tale of 2 starts. I think if you're looking for a 2-start streamer with upside, he still beats out the guys who I'm yet to talk about because they are far riskier. But yeah, if you can get away with starting him in the first start, not the second in the daily league where you don't have to set weekly lineups, I'd prefer that.
All right, now let's talk about arguably the hottest pitcher in baseball right now. I mean, Jacob Lopez has yet to give up a single run in the month of August across 3 starts. But even if you go back to July, we're talking 4 straight scoreless starts. Last 2 starts, he's pitched 7 2/3 and 7 innings, again, without allowing an earned run. Struck out, am I reading this right? He has struck out 19 batters over the last 2 games. This guy is absolutely on fire. And look, you got to love the matchups again this week. Twins, Mariners. Now, I know the Mariners lineup, they added some pieces there. You got Big Dumper, can always, drive in a home run or whatever. But, man, this guy is just on fire. I'd probably stream this guy with full confidence this week. That's just me, though. That's just me.
Well, that's the problem here. It's like it's almost too good to be true. This feels like such a trap because this is personal frustration with Jacob Lopez because it's like just when he looks good, right? Then he looks bad, and then vice versa. And he's playing the Twins. It's like there's no way he doesn't go 7 scoreless again, right? There's no way he doesn't dominate. So what's going to happen. Like, this is baseball. This is exactly what I was talking about with Gavin Williams, right? It's like, oh, this is the Marlins. Man, look how good he was last time. He's gonna be even better. And then he's not. So it's like, look, on paper, yes, you have to pick up Jacob Lopez and play him against the Twins and then the Mariners in the road. Okay, not as good, but still it's in Seattle. So
right.
It's like you have to. I'm just letting you know what's inevitable is Jacob Lopez is going to probably murder your ratios this week because baseball.
Because baseball. Speaking of because baseball, let's talk about the tale that is Brady Singer. 3 of his last 4 starts, he's gone at least 6 innings and given up 1 or fewer runs, and in 2 of those starts gave up 0 runs. By the way, that was against the Phillies and the Braves in there. So then what did he do against the Pirates and the Nationals? Well, he went 2 1/3 against the Nationals, gave up 7 earned runs. Only went 3 2/3 against Pirates, gave up 4 earned runs, which is crazy because the Pirates are like gold for pitchers. So I don't even know what to make of this. Like, okay, so he gets the Angels and the Diamondbacks this week. Does that mean the Angels are going to rock him and then he's going to like no-hit the Diamondbacks? Is that what's going to happen this week?
Probably, because baseball, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. He can dominate the Phillies, but no, he's going to get lit up by the Pirates and the Nationals, who have been one of the worst offenses in the second half. So, Brady Singer has been hard to trust all year. Now, the good news is they're on the road, both of these games for Singer on the road, so he doesn't have to pitch in Great American. But look, the Angels, for what it's worth, have been better, and they can put together some games where they score runs. So it's not a gimme. I'm just saying this is not a gimme. So Singer is one of those risky streamers where you don't know what you're getting. Like most.
All right. Yeah. Speaking of you don't know what you're getting, Dustin May. Dustin May was a guy a lot of us thought, maybe this would be the year for him. He did okay to start, kind of up and down. Then he kind of like wasn't pitching for a while, but he's come back and look, he was strong in his last outing against the Astros of all teams. Shut out the Astros for 6 innings, struck out 8 batters. But you look before that, 3 2/3, 5 innings, 4 2/3, 4 2/3. Like, yeah, you don't know here. But this is definitely the tale of 2 matchups. Gets the Orioles, who probably, the Orioles are the most disappointing offense this year. They got to be, right?
Disappointing, yes. I think definitely without a doubt they're the most disappointing, even though on paper they're not the worst. But man, there's so many players here that aren't living up to expectations. I will say this. The Orioles second half, kind of like with the Twins, right? They sold a lot of players, been disappointing anyways. You think this is a layup, but just over the weekend, it finally happened. I've been talking about it for weeks. Dylan Beavers and Samuel Basallo both got called up. And just today, they both look like they should have been in the majors a while ago, right? Already, Basallo almost crushed a home run. Beavers had a hit, 2 runs scored. I'm not saying all of a sudden this is like Murderer's Row, but still, the Orioles at least have some more injection of talent and young players here on offense. This is a turning point for Dustin May. This could be where he sees if they can actually get 5-6 innings out of him every time, if he can put together a string of quality starts and prove that he belongs in that rotation. I don't even mean like this year or postseason, just next year, right? He's got to prove something after getting shipped off. So let's see what Dustin May does this week. The Orioles still, it's a good matchup. And at the Yankees, all right, now the Yankees are starting to look a little more Yankee-ish. So it's not a great start there, but he could possibly put together a decent week. May is the guy I'm the most interested in. Let's just put it that way. And honestly, if you're in a competitive league, 12-team league, like our league, for example, all the guys we already talked about are over 50% owned across Yahoo. He might be the first best option that's actually available to you.
All right, there you go. Well, and back to another 50% rostered guy. We're talking about Michael Wacha here. I mean, he's been, I guess, good this year. 3.35 ERA, 101 strikeouts in 137 innings. Like he feels very safe here. And again, another one. I feel like tale of two matchups this week. The Rangers, that shouldn't scare you. Another disappointing offense, I guess, right there with the Orioles. The Tigers, a good offense though. So Michael Wacha here, like ratio play.
That's it. There's never much to say about Waka. He'll keep the ERA decently low. He won't get rocked. Won't get you many strikeouts. He could get you a quality start. So he's your fallback. That's basically it.
All right. And then finally, our last two-start streamer of the week is going to be Nestor Cortez, who will forever be known for giving up the home run to Freddie Freeman. But he gets a rematch this week against the Dodgers. Not sure if that's a good thing. But also the Giants, that's a good thing. Don't forget, this guy just has only made 2 starts since coming back from injury in April. He's yet to go over 4 2/3 innings. Are we going to see him ramped up more this week?
I hope so. And so Nestor did make the cut for the waiver wire video. He's your deeper option. I feel like he could be a sneaky ad here. Again, I'm thinking deeper leagues. We know what he can do. When he's healthy, he's on the bump. He can put together quality starts. And so let's see now if he can get up to that. This might be the week. The Giants are struggling huge. So this is a great matchup for him. The Dodgers, a little less straightforward, I'm going to say, because the Dodgers have gotten better. They're still not the early season version of the Dodgers, but they're starting to put together also on offense. But still, since the All-Star break, bottom 10 in terms of runs scored. So this isn't, something that's going to scare me completely off of Nestor Cortez and the Giants, the third fewest runs since the All-Star break. That's a great matchup. So yeah, I think Nestor Cortez might be a guy to keep an eye on. He's also, after May, the one I'm the most curious to see how he does here.
All right, there you go, guys. There's our 2-start streamers for the week. Of course, now we're going to get to your questions. Let me remind you before we do, if you're impatient, you don't want to wait in line, you just want to get your question answered right away and get out of here, drop that super chat. That'll move you to the front of the line. Or if you just want to say thanks for all the hard work. And I do also want to take this time to mention something you may see scrolling down there at the bottom. Our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy, has dropped a brand new customer special. This is, I think, really awesome. If you do any pick'ems for MLB, NFL, any sport, and you play just $5, just $5, they're going to give you $50 in bonus funds, whether you win or lose. You're going to get an extra $50. Plus, they're still doing, for a limited time, not sure how long it's going to last, they're still doing the deposit match, 50% up to $1,000 in bonus cash. You see it scrolling right there. Plus, they're still going to give you a free pick. So you're probably going to win that $5 pick. Plus, you're going to get $50. Plus, you're going to get bonus cash. And, of course, I'm showing you right here. These are in-game picks because, of course, the games are going right now. But they have MLB picks every day of the season. So if you've been standing on the sidelines, thinking like, I don't know if I want to try Underdog, this is a great chance to dip your toes in the water. You just got to play $5. They're going to give you 50 plus the deposit match. Why not just try it out? It's a ton of fun. You'll love it. You'll be happy you did. All right. With that out of the way, let's get back to the questions here. Let's start with Keith. What's up, Keith? It says, hard for Matt Shaw to get counting stats if he's not hitting home runs. So with Jacob Wilson coming back, I guess he's got either decide Jacob Wilson or Matt Shaw.
Wow. Well, good options. Yeah, well, with Shaw, I mean, I kind of get what you're saying. He's been a little homer dependent. The shocking thing here lately is that it's kind of ironic. As soon as he's heating up, the rest of the entire Cubs offense has cooled off, right? Basically everybody is ice cold, but that's not completely true. He does have some steals. He's got 15 steals on the season. And I mean, just look at just since the All-Star break, his batting average is super high. So I don't think that's completely true. Jacob Wilson doesn't really steal bases. He does have some home runs, but I mean, he's really outperforming his expected slugging in that sense. I'm still going to go Shaw with the way he's raking right now.
All right, then Keith also wants to know, Yordan Alvarez starting a rehab assignment. So who's going to the bench? Kyle Tucker? Byron Buxton? Roman Laureano? Duran Duran? Or Roman Anthony?
It's funny, but it's not funny. The guy here that I think you can't bench is Ramon Laureano, right? The guy who you just kind of plucked off waivers midseason. He's been the best one. He's the hottest. You got to play Laureano, of course. If Buxton's healthy, I think keep him in there. Honestly, I'm tempted to say Tucker, but I would probably bench Anthony once Jordan comes back.
All right. And then Raul, what's up? He's got a dynasty question. 12-team dynasty. Would you drop Jordan Beck for Robles? He's already got a lot of Rockies. Zico Tovar, Brenton Doyle, Hunter Goodman. League playoffs are in 2 weeks, and he needs to manufacture some category help as a 4 seed.
There you go. You said it there. Not just having too many Rockies and bad mojo. I mean, obviously you've gotten this far. Yeah, I would do that. I'm big on Robles, as you know. Talked him up on the waiver wire. He's going to, assuming he's just out there every day and healthy, which I think we can assume reasonably, he's going to steal bases. He should hit for average. Got a little bit of pop. So yeah, I'm fine doing this. Jordan Beck in Dynasty, okay, maybe worth keeping at the end of your bench, but he's not a must-hold.
All right. And then he also wants to know, can you rank these 4 starting pitchers in a Dynasty head-to-head roto league? Jason Alexander, Mike Burrows, Ryan Bergert, Slade Caccione, however you pronounce his name. And would you drop Emmett Sheehan for any of them?
All right, ranking these pitchers, I still like Ciccone the best out of them. I'll go Alexander second, Burrows third, Bergert fourth. In Dynasty, I'm not sure I would drop Sheehan for any of them. I mean, I assume you're asking for long term because it's Dynasty. I don't know that any of these guys is really giving you a huge boost down the stretch necessarily. So I'm thinking long term. Sheehan's not going to be in the rotation probably in the rest of the season, but for next year, I'd rather have Sheehan.
All right. And then Neftali wants to know, Zebby Matthews, is he worth the hold or just a stream guy? He gets the White Sox on Friday.
Well, you just said it. You got the White Sox. That's no good. No good. You don't want to go. You don't want to face the White Sox these days. I mean, and seriously, the White Sox cannot stop hitting. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Maybe it's me. I feel like I'm just lower than everybody else in Zebby Matthews. But I'm like, why is everybody else so high on Zebby Matthews? It's like we just expect something that's not happening. Maybe next year, but I don't see it. I mean, he has not performed at all this year. I'm not holding him.
All right. And then back to Neftali wants to know, who do you think will do better rest of the season, Josh Naylor or Michael Harris in a head-to-head points league?
Well, I guess we just have to be all in on Michael Harris. Well, apparently he did make an adjustment to his batting stance, and this is the kind of thing you do have to pay attention to. It's not just random, right? Like all of a sudden one day he decided to start hitting when he didn't the entire season before. He made an adjustment, went back to his old hitting style, and it's working. So you got to be in on Harris.
All right. Then N6 RCS, what's up? He's got some questions. Is Chase Burns a drop? He's fighting for a playoff spot. He just added Jameson Taillon.
Yeah, now you can probably drop Burns because now that he's hurt, there were some questions about innings restrictions and they hadn't done anything yet. I think now the rest of the season, if he comes back, it might be a 6-man rotation. The ratios were still risky anyway, so you're safe to drop Burns in redraft.
And then his second question, he picked up Blaze Alexander just like I did, so just in time for Blaze Alexander to go ice cold in Colorado and do absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So who's better replacement rest of the season, Beavers, Cags, Cruz, or Cowser?
Wow, we got some options. I mean, Beavers, super interesting. Just came up. We'll see what he does. Cruz is also a guy, he's come back. Is he going to be a different player? I mean, I hope so, because the player we saw in the beginning of the year was pretty terrible, but so far, so good. I don't think I can put any of them still over Cags. I mean, he's got the highest upside. He's about to come back. I think he's rehabbing. I hate to say the guy I was highest on preseason, Cowser, is now probably the guy I'm least interested in. He's just been so mediocre, really. He just doesn't move the needle for you in any way. So I'm going to put Cags first, probably then Cruz, then Beavers, and Cowser.
All right, and then Ryan wants to know, Hurston, Waldrep, and Cade Horton solid ads, even in 10-teamers.
Horton definitely. Waldrop, we'll see. We'll see what they do with him. It seems like the Braves are kind of like not sure at all what they're doing with their pitching. 10-man league is also a little riskier there, but I would definitely add Horton.
All right, and then he also wants to know, would you add Luke Keeschel and drop Gleyber Torres in a 10-man league?
I mean, this you should have done like 3 weeks ago. 4 weeks ago, yeah. Add Keeschel.
All right, closer question from Naftali. Who do you prefer, Will Vest or Randy Rodriguez? Randy Rodriguez, interesting, has been dropped and picked up like twice in the last week in our league.
Yeah, Randy Rodriguez, not quite dominating like we thought he would. I mean, he's got all of 3 saves. His ratios are still nice, but he hasn't been as good, right? Since becoming the guy, or since, I don't know, the pressure. The Giants in general are just kind of in a funk. But he hasn't done much. I still think I'd go him over Vest because Vest is not the guy, right? He's kind of the 1B, and this is what the AJ Hinch does, right? He doesn't use just one guy. But Finnegan's more the closer. Vest will get the occasional save. I don't think I could put Vest over Rodriguez.
All right, and another one from Ryan wants to know, for third base, would you add Miguel Andujar or Ernie Clement?
And if you got a need, then yeah, I'd go Andujar. He's been red hot. Might be too late here. I mean, he already had his smoking hot week. But yeah, while the guy's hot and he's in a good situation, you can go Andujar.
And then another one here, he's saying, should I take Ozzy Albies out of my lineup, move Luis Arias to second base, and then put Andrew Vaughn in first base?
Well, Ryan, you're in a 10-teamer. I want to do better. I'm going to put Andrew Vaughn in my first base slot. I dropped Albies in our 12-teamer. I don't think anybody's even picked him up still. He's still out there, right?
Yep.
Why? Like, why? And I dropped Arias weeks ago in whatever league I had him. I wanted to do better at second base for both these guys. Honestly, I don't know who's in the waiver wire. If you're in 10-teamer, you got to have somebody good. I could drop Albies and Arias.
All right, and then Shadow G, another closer question. Would you drop Pagan for Bednar?
Yeah, I mean, he has tailed off a little bit. I don't know. It depends how solidly he feel about Bednar the rest of the season. He's not a sure bet. I still think Pagan, I mean, he's the guy there, right? He's got 25 saves this year. They just haven't been winning as many games lately, but I don't think you need to drop him necessarily. I don't know that I would do this.
All right, and then this is a question that always arises throughout games, seasons. Player not hustling to first base on an obvious ground out. Is Kyle Tucker going to lose money in free agency because he didn't run hard to first base?
No, Kyle Tucker will do just fine. Yeah, I saw that happened today. You know what? Sometimes this is like a kick in the pants for a player, right? You know, he's been struggling for a while now. The Cubs have been struggling on offense, not just him, but PCA and Ian Happ, all these guys. So this could be something that maybe lights a fire under him, right? So I wouldn't worry too much. I think he'll be all right.
I think it's funny we worry so much about guys hustling to first base on an obvious ground out. Like, okay, yeah, maybe the 1 out of 50 chance that like the guy bobbles it and you're on first instead, but it doesn't matter because the guy who comes up after you is going to ground into a double play anyways. Like, these guys don't want to run. They're like, what would you rather have, him sprinting the first and pull a hamstring, or him like lollygagging it and being okay?
I mean, you're not wrong. Guys get hurt just running out a routine rounder, and I mean, yeah, you want to at least pretend you're trying. You don't have to go full speed, like full sprint, but it is a bad look. I mean, you should know. Come on, you should be used to the crowds of the tens of thousands of people watching you and on TV. You should know that if you're dogging it, it's going to come back to you. So it's just more just stupid than anything.
Yeah. All right. Steve wants to know, relief pitcher is hard to come by since the trade deadline. Is Cade Smith a good pickup right now?
Well, I think Kate Smith is still a good pickup. And if relievers are hard to come by, I mean, there's a lot worse options you could have than Kate Smith. So, yeah, I would pick him up.
All right, and then we got Vegeta King. I guess it probably is Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z because his jersey says Saiyans.
The Saiyan.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate you. Is it worth making a lateral move to drop Randy Rodriguez for Brian Abreu? He's already got Munoz and Cade Smith.
That's a good question, though. I mean, I pretty much said, I think, my own words. I think I said if Abreu's out there in any league that counts saves, you have to pick him up. I'm picking up Abreu. So, yeah, I'm fine dropping Rodriguez for Abreu. Got to keep Smith. Yeah, between Smith and Rodriguez is where it's close, but I would keep Smith. And look, if Hader comes back, all good. Abreu goes back to being setup guy. Maybe nobody's picked up Rodriguez.
All right, then Leo says Tanner Scott was dropped in his league. Is he worth picking up and stashing?
If you need saves, sure, he's worth stashing. You can put him, I think, on your IL spot still, because nobody's really claimed the job there for the Dodgers. You know, they're mixing and matching. So, assuming Scott's good for the rest of the year, he'll should still have value.
All right, and then Victor somehow was able to trade away Mookie Betts and Quinn Priester for Luke Keeschel, Andrew Abbott, and Brian Bello, who's been on fire, just on fire. This guy might be this year's Bowden Francis. Anyways, how did he do?
You know what? I like it. I like this. Mookie Betts has been slightly less horrible since the break, but look, just straight up, Luke Keeschel will probably outproduce Mookie Betts in the second half. Straight up, you forget the name, forget all that. You might have got the better player on offense, and you got two good pitchers. One who's just been dominant for a guy who is fading a little bit. Priester is fading a little bit. I think this is a great. I can't call it sell high. I guess you sort of sold high on Priester a little bit. Yeah, I like this trade.
All right, and then humble brag here from DJ saying he picked up Michael Harris at the All-Star break. His son laughed at me. Who's laughing now? Who is laughing now?
There you go. Put those humble brags out.
All right, Skywalker, what's up? Wants to know, would you drop any of Lugo Horton or Jacob Lopez, Bryce Miller, or Kyle Bradish for Nolan McLean?
Well, it's interesting because your last two are guys who are on the IL, about to come back off the IL. Do you not have them in IL spots? Is my question. Jacob Lopez. I guess you still have to keep Lopez for this week because of the two starts. So I'm okay dropping Lugo. I'm okay dropping Lugo here. I'd rather go for the upside of those guys coming back off injury. And yeah, I would take McLean over Lugo.
All right, Harry Brooks wants to know 10-team head-to-head rest of the season points league. It's points league. What's the priority? What's the top two priority of this group? Victor Robles, Cags, O'Neal Cruz. I don't even know who Monty is. Butler. Lawrence Butler, I guess.
Lawrence Butler. Oh, Lawrence Butler, who I was almost ready to just say like goodbye, and then he hit a home run today. Lawrence Butler. Okay. So this is a 10-teamer and it's a points league. So that's different, right? This also changes things. Lawrence Butler, not quite as valuable in a points league anyways. Same thing with Cags. I mean, he's pretty much power or nothing. I think when he comes back, even though it hasn't been a great season, it's concussion. O'Neal Cruz should be back soon. No complications. Then I think O'Neal Cruz is still number one here. Number two, I guess I'll go Robles. I think I'll go Robles.
All right. Thank you for that. And then Raul just dropping the super chat to say, we're the best remedy for the Sunday scaries. What are the Sunday scaries? I don't know. But thank you, Raul. Appreciate that. Appreciate everybody.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right. All right. Unknown screwdriver. What do I do with Jackson Merrill? So apparently he rolled his ankle on Friday, played yesterday, tried to play today. He said it's not good enough. And he just said, hopefully I play tomorrow if I wake up and it feels brand new. I don't think that's going to happen. Jackson Merrill's been terrible. What do we do with Jackson? Are we just outright dropping this guy?
So fitting that you would ask that. So Monday is the day for panic, right? You get the Sunday scareties, and then the Monday you go and you add some players, right? Or Sunday night you add and you drop, and so I'm gonna do, instead of the panic video, it's time for another cut list. Like we're almost here, right? Mid-August, couple of weeks till playoffs. Let's cut the dead weight. I think Jackson Merrill's on the list. It's on the list. Just move on.
All right. And Ui2K. Who's a better at? Matt Shaw, Miguel Andujar, or Noelvi Marte? And would you drop Colson? Is that who Monty is? Colson Montgomery? Would you drop Colson Montgomery for any of them?
I got to go Shaw. Man, Shaw has been so good since this is what I've been waiting for. I was so high, probably too high, right? Okay, there's always one guy, you drink the Kool-Aid and you get all in. Matt Shaw was my guy, right? Preseason, did a whole video just on Matt Shaw being that guy. Wasn't that guy, but now, since the All-Star break, he has been. Imagine a world where Kyle Tucker actually starts hitting the ball and getting on base. Imagine Pete Crow Armstrong playing like he actually did in the first half. And then Matt Shaw still there raking. I got to go Shaw.
All right, go with Shaw. If Fantasy Sports wants to know, is Samuel Basallo, is he a must add his first game 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs?
I think so. It's hard to just blanket say must add because it really depends on who you got, what your your situation is, what your needs are. He's probably just going to DH because even though he's a catcher, he's not out there for his defense. He's like another guy that who knows if we'll ever see again this season, Moises Ballesteros, or let's say Agustin Ramirez, who is playing catcher but is really not good at the whole defense and catching thing. He's going to DH. I don't think that we'll see him behind the plate much, like once in a while. Will he play first base? Maybe a little bit. But I don't care. I will add him just for his upside because this kid can rake. Can't play him over Perez, Kurtz, Alonso, or Tani. No, you can't. But you know what you could do? Now, again, I don't know who you got on your bench. You can add him so somebody else doesn't. I am a full advocate of playing defense on the waiver wire. You can add him so that somebody else doesn't get him because maybe they want to put him at DH. They don't have a Tani or they don't have, a good catcher. Just add him so you have him. And, we are not promised tomorrow. Nick Kurtz could get hurt. Pete Alonso could get hurt. And then you do put him at first base, Tani, whatever. So when a guy is this good, you can add him just to have him, assuming you don't drop anybody really good.
All right, then back to N6 RCS wants to know, is Evan Carter worth an ad? He could also be a guy to replace Blaze Alexander.
I'm kind of done with Evan Carter. He's so kind of annoying. No, I'm not super interested in Evan Carter, honestly. I'd rather keep Blaze.
All right, then we got Benjamin Lozano in a 14-team. What's up, Benjamin? He's got that 14-team head-to-head roto league. He needs outfielder help. Colby Thomas, Dalton Varsho. There's a name I haven't heard in a while. Miguel Andujar, league winner, greatest of all time, Jacob Marcy, Brenton Doyle, Noelvi Marte, Beavers. Pick 2 of these guys.
Well, I mean, you already know half the answer here, right?
Yes.
Honestly, how can you not add Marcy? How is he out there? 14-teamer? Nobody's picked this guy up?
I'm not even joking. Like, I got the notification today, like, oh, he's not going to play. So I sat him, and he still somehow went 2 for 2 with a home run and 2 RBIs. How is that? He didn't play today. How is that possible?
Just from the bench, he's hitting home runs. This
Yeah,
is
it doesn't even
a
matter.
legend.
Like I'm just
To
never
be
taking
honest,
this guy
you
out of my
have to
lineup
pick
ever
him.
again. I don't care if he's playing or not. He's not coming out of my lineup the rest of the year.
No. Well, here's the thing too with Marcy. Stowers now, who's been their best player, right? Their best hitter. He's on the IL, and they say he's gonna miss multiple weeks. Who knows if he comes back this season? Marcy's not coming out of the lineup like ever again, except for to give him, like a chance to breathe for like 2 innings before they put him in. Apparently, like today.
Right? Exactly. I don't even care. You get the little
Yep.
red X on your. I don't care. He's staying in my lineup. He'll pinch hit a home run. It doesn't matter.
So honestly, go right now and pick up Marcy. I don't know how nobody's picked him up yet in your league. Between those other options, I forget Doyle, Thomas, probably not going to get enough at bats. Give me just, take a shot on Beavers, see how it goes. If you got good enough options here, if Beavers doesn't play enough or he's not hitting, then you can pivot to like Varsho.
All right, and then Durf Boy wants to know he dropped one of the hottest hitters in baseball, Roman Laureano, to activate Ronald Acuna off his IL spot. Was that a mistake?
Well, I mean, I'm glad you didn't drop Acuna, but who else do you have? I mean, yeah, I want Laureano. Maybe you can. Is there somebody else you can drop? There's got to be. By the way, Durf Boy, I thought, is that a football player now? What happened to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Yeah, that's right. It's football season. He's in football mode now.
Nice.
All right, F. Butler is heating up. Would you drop him? Would you drop him for Beavers or Colby Thomas?
I don't know if I would say he's heating up. Trust me, I have Lawrence Butler. He needs to do a lot more before I can say he's heating up. I wouldn't drop him for Thomas necessarily. Beavers is interesting. Obviously, I like Beavers. Yeah, why not? Do it. Drop him for Beavers.
All right. Fantasy Sports wants to know who is the closer in Detroit. We talked about this a little bit. Vest got 2 straight, then Finnegan. Doesn't matter. Would you pick up and stash Tanner Scott over both of them?
It's both. It is both of them. Who's the closer? It's Kyle Finnegan and Will Vest. It's both. This is what they do. They did it last year. They had like 3 different closers. The year before that, they had like 3 or 4. This is how it's going to be. Finnegan will probably get more of the saves. He's more kind of like the 1A, but they will both get opportunities. That's just how it's going to be. Am I going to pick up Scott over both of them? I think I would rather just go with Finnegan, the more proven, right? Like I think the guy who'll get more saves. And yeah, you can go Scott over Vest.
All right, then back to Raul wants to know is Sosa worth keeping in a deep roto head to head? Do you foresee Houston doing a closer committee like a lot of teams?
No, Houston's not a team that will do that, and obviously they don't need to because they have Josh Hader. But even when Hader's out, I don't see this being a mix and match situation. So probably not. I mean, if you got Abreu, you're good. If not, I don't think anybody else there is worth adding.
All right, back to Ui2K wants to know, would you drop Ryan Nelson, The Miz, or Quinn Priester for any of Kate Horton, Hurston Waldrop, or Nolan McLean? I finally dropped Ryan Nelson.
Yeah, he dropped Ryan Nelson. The Miz is back. Priester, I know he's flipping a little bit, but I don't know that I'll drop him. I'll drop Ryan Nelson for Horton.
All right, then Victor wants to know, could Luis Garcia or Brad Lord be serviceable in Burns' absence?
Yeah, Brad Lord has been serviceable. You're not getting a lot of strikeouts. I think he's like a career 90% strikeout rate, something lowish, but he is serviceable. If that's your best option, he'll be fine.
And then Keith saying Michael King and Jack Flaherty dropped in his league. Would you pick one or both of these guys up?
Well, I wouldn't add Michael King because he's back on the IL, and who knows when they'll see this guy again. He's hurt, so yeah, this might just be kind of a lost second half for King. Flaherty, it's fine. I don't know who you're dropping to add him. Flaherty's just one of these guys who's up and down, frustrating, not having his best season. Put it that way. He was dropped because he's been really bad lately. Doesn't mean he'll be bad his next time out, though. So as long as you hold on for the roller coaster, then you could pick him up.
All right, and then he also wants to know, Raul also wants to know, who would you rather keep? LA's Kim, is that Haesung Kim or Max Mayer?
Oh, interesting. So obviously we're looking next year. I guess if I had to pick right now, because nothing's gonna change with these guys' situation, I still have some faith in Max Meyer because he started out well. This guy just can't stop getting hurt. I think there's still some potential there. Kim, it's not even a matter of ability; it's just playing time. I mean, is he ever gonna earn a full-time job there? I don't know. I guess I would keep Meyer.
All right, then Tyler wants to know, are we buying into Trevor Rogers? This guy's been on fire. I'm trying to look here. I guess you got to go back to June 30th, the last time this guy had, I can't even call that a bad outing. I guess June 18th, the last time he had a bad outing against the Rays. Are we buying into this guy?
Yes, sadly we are. Very reluctantly. And Philip asked this before. I guess. Go ahead and look like a Cy Young candidate now. Yes, I'm bitter because he was one of these former Marlins who had one good year and then just turned into a huge flop. And then now, of course, looking like an ace. Look, the velocity is up. He's back to doing what made him successful before. You have to buy into him. Yes.
All right, then UI2K, are we worried about Eugenio Suarez since going to the Mariners? Has this guy even hit a home run since going to the Mariners?
Technically, yes.
Technically, what was it, inside the Parker?
Yeah, of course you're going to be worried. I would say disappointed. I'm not worried, He's still the same guy. Just we knew going to Seattle was not a great situation for a hitter because it's just not a great place. He's been there before, but of course when he was there in Seattle, he didn't have his best season. But what are you going to do? Don't drop him. I mean, how many guys are you going to put that are still better than him at third base? So just keep rolling him out there. I mean, just okay, why didn't he go to the Dodgers, right? That would have been perfect.
All right, N6 RCS, which, by the way, the fact that this guy has not been able to hit home runs since going to the Mariners, and Cal Raleigh still leads the majors in home runs, imagine what this guy would be doing if he got to play in Yankee Stadium. All right.
Yeah, right.
Back to N6 RCS. Would you drop Baldwin for Basayo, or just straight up have three catchers in Langoliers, Baldwin, and Basayo?
Yeah, why not? I mean, obviously you got to roll Langoliers out there every day now.
I never thought Cal Raleigh and Shea Langoliers, my two catchers, would be carrying my fantasy team. But these guys are just in my life. Like Shea Langoliers is in my, whatever you call it, utility spotlight every day.
And it's funny because a lot of people thought like early catcher was the way to go this year. Like, so many good catchers. And these weren't the guys that you thought were going to be the ones, right? It was like William Contreras and, Ali Rushman and not Shea Langoliers and Cal Raleigh. Okay, sure. But nobody, come on. Nobody thought he was going to be hitting like 50 home runs. If you don't have to drop Baldwin, sure, just add Basayo. There's nothing wrong with holding on to him.
All right, then we did answer this. Torito, is Jackson Merrill drop? Yes.
Yeah.
All right, DJ Storm, in a 16-team points league, would you drop Otto Lopez, pick up Blaze Alexander?
Yeah, I would do that. Blaze is doing a pretty good job here. Otto Lopez is fine for a 16-teamer. Almost anybody who's getting everyday at bats is fine in a points league, solid. But I'll go Blaze for more upside.
All right, then Harry Brooks wants to know, pick one, Matt Shaw or Colson Montgomery in a head-to-head points league?
Gotta go Matt Shaw. Matt Shaw is too hot.
All right, Naftali says he's got Chase Burns, Pablo Lopez, and Nick Lodolo on IL. Would you drop any of these for Shane Bieber or Kyle Bradish?
Yeah, Bieber's about to come back, but here's the question is what are they going to do with him? I mean, is he going to be in the rotation? Are they going to 6 men? How long is he going to go? I've got my reservations about Bieber. I think I would rather have Bradish, and I would drop Burns.
All right, then Slayer, Live PR, wants to know, would you drop Iglesias for Abreu?
Yeah, I could. Well, I mean, the only thing is kind of depends on how deep your league is because, if you do this, and let's say Hader comes back, and then Abreu's not getting you saves, are you getting Iglesias back? You know what I mean? I'll guess say Hader's not coming back. Oh, never mind. Yeah, I guess this is fine. If you don't need Iglesias, then that's fine.
All right. What's up, Luis? Wants to know Basayo or Agustin Ramirez? Did you ever think we'd have so many catcher questions?
Well, I mean, look, you're taking a chance here. Basayo's been up for all of like a day. So I don't know that I want to drop Agustin Ramirez for Basayo. I mean, yes, the upside is huge, but still, I mean, it's too early to say what we're going to get from Basayo long term. So I'll stick with Agustin for now.
All right. And then last question from N6RCS. Do we have these live streams from football? Yes, we do.
Yes.
We do these almost every day, like every day but Friday, honestly. We do them almost daily. We help you with waivers, trades, start sits. Yes, we absolutely do. So hopefully you can join us there.
Yep.
All right. Van Rod, what's up? Wants to know, would you drop, I assume that's Devin Williams for Vest or Ferrer in a 10-team points league, head-to-head points?
Yeah, probably Devin Williams since we're talking closers. Ferrer is super risky. I don't think. I mean, yeah, you can probably drop Williams. I guess Vest is probably your safest option here, so go Vest.
All right, and then another Matt Shaw question from Luis. Luis, what's up? Doubleheader tomorrow, Brewers and Cubs. Are you adding Sal Frelick or Matt Shaw?
Well, I mean, I like them both, but I'm just gonna keep going back to Shaw.
And then same with Neftali, same thing for the doubleheader tomorrow. Joey Ortiz or Matt Shaw?
It's still Shaw. I'm glad you mentioned Joey Ortiz, though. He's a guy who in one league, I picked him up, a deeper league. I picked him up, and yeah, I didn't realize he's also been on fire lately. I don't know how long that'll last, but he's a nice, sneaky kind of deep league ad. I didn't mention on the waiver wire, but he's also a good one if you need. Somebody earlier had asked about second base. Remember, it was like Ozzy Albies or Luis Arias. Dude, just seriously, just pick up Joey Ortiz and put him instead. I'd rather have him than Albies.
All right, there you go. And Fantasy Sports wants to know Kyle Bradish or Nolan McLean rest of the season.
I mean, how do you answer this? The guy who's made one start in the majors or the guy who hasn't pitched at all this year? Got to think that Bradish will be pretty close to being back to his form. I would probably go Bradish.
All right, then back to Durf Boy. Remember, he had to drop Ramon Laureano, but he said his team is stacked. He's got Judge, Rooker, Acuna, got Gunnar Henderson, Ramirez, Terang, Vlad.
Oh, yeah.
So,
well, then you're not going to miss him.
Yeah, what can you do, right? What can you do? All right, back to Van Rod, Yainer Diaz, or Basayo. Like, where does the line? Where's the line for a guy who's played one MLB game? Where is the line?
Yeah, exactly. But I will say this: Yainer Diaz has not been lighting it up. He's been fine. He's turned out to have a decent stat line, even though it doesn't feel like it. He's okay, but are you going to miss him terribly if you drop him? There's been some leagues where he was dropped and didn't get picked up. This kind of depends on, look, if you drop Yainer Diaz, you're like, let's go, Basayo. He's going to break out the second half, and then he doesn't. Or they send him back down after 2 weeks, which is like a very Oriole thing to do. Are you getting Diaz back? Do you have a nice fallback option at catcher? Is there somebody you could pick up that you'd be okay with? So this really depends on your waiver wire and your league.
All right, here's the real question though: Ohtani or Basayo?
I mean, look, after tomorrow, it might be Basayo. I don't know. It's a good question, though.
Good question. We'll get back to you. All right, Uwe2K wants to know what are your thoughts on Joey Wentz or Yandry Gomez? Are either worthy replacements for Ryan Nelson?
Could be. Wentz has been all right. In fact, you picked up Wentz, didn't you, a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, and then I dropped him. Yeah,
he's all right.
I give up on guys too quick. noticed. All right, DJ, Nolan McLean or old man Charlie Morton, who had a nice outing the other day.
Yeah, old man Morton's been pretty good for the most part. He had actually been kind of rolling, and then he got smoked in one start. I think he's still got a little bit left in the tank, but give me the upside. Give me McLean.
All right, the nameless current. So a current with no name. Who are you dropping here? Chris Paddock or Justin Verlander?
Both. I'm done with Paddock. I'm done with that guy. Good matchups, different team. Forget it. I'm done with Paddock. Drop that guy. You could probably drop Verlander. Take a chance on somebody else.
And then Naftali says, are we holding McLean? And apparently there's some issue ESPN. This is why I don't play fantasy on ESPN, where you didn't get points for this guy. People are going to lose their matchups because they didn't get points for this guy. Come on, ESPN. You're like the biggest platform out there. Get it together.
It's funny because I actually said this, something about this, and I probably could figure out why on the waiver wire video. If y'all saw when I talked about Nolan McLean, he's listed on ESPN just like Ohtani as two separate guys, hitter and pitcher. And so I think they screwed him up. This guy, of course, he's not hitting in the majors, but because he had, a couple of years ago in the minors, so that's what it is. This is like the, however many years ago, like 7 years ago thing with Ohtani. They're like, what do we do with him? Well, ESPN, I guess, hasn't figured that out yet. So anyways, yeah, I've heard of the issue, but I also don't play on ESPN.
Yeah. Well, anyways, are we holding him even with ESPN not giving us points for him?
I'm assuming they'll figure it out. So, yeah.
All right. Speaking of Ryan Nelson, would you drop him for Jack Flaherty?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I dropped. I wanted to believe in Ryan Nelson, but it's not. The next start, he's going to go out there and throw like 7 innings to score this baseball and strike out 8. That's how it goes.
He probably is.
Again, against the Yankees in New York or something. I don't know who he faces. All right. And this is a good point. ESPN has not figured out anything in the last 10 years. I am terrified that ESPN is getting Red Zone. They are going to absolutely ruin Red Zone. Please don't ruin Red Zone, ESPN.
Probably will.
All right. And with that, we are all caught up as we are coming up on the hour mark. Appreciate everybody being on here. Appreciate you guys still being on here. The grind of the baseball season. We got a few weeks left here. Of course, football ramping up. So like N6 RCS asked, yes, if you are fantasy football players as well, make sure you check out our other channel, Fantasy Endgame. Shock, same name. And of course, if you're just checking this channel out for the first time and you're like, that was great, hit that subscribe button, click the notification bell so you know when we go not live, you know when new videos drop. Got a video coming out tomorrow telling you guys you can cut loose. It's the time of the year, right? You don't have to hold it. You can't worry about where you drafted these guys anymore.
No.
You got to have guys that can help you win your fantasy baseball championship. If they're not helping you, you got to cut bait. So check that out tomorrow, guys. Appreciate everybody being on here. Don't forget to check out Underdog as well. That new promo, $5, get you 50. It's pretty sweet. All right, everybody. We'll see you next Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your night.